everything's looking pretty bad there. I mean, the boards are all coming up, the roofs are all gone, like ripping off. It wasn't like that when I came back years ago. It's looking rough. The state park was rough. The plaques are all peeled up and gone. I can't even hike out to the fucking Eureka tunnel. The path's gone and overgrown now. There's paths that are overgrown. There's just some, I don't know, man. It's not like, I don't know. It's
don't care about this shit.
Yeah, I know. It's looking pretty rough, though.
In 1/4 mile, make a U-turn.
Bullshit.
It is bullshit, but I don't think it's a government shutdown. Sometimes they close fucking roads and don't let anybody up them. That was 6 or 7 years ago I went to that lake. 6 years ago I went. Maybe longer, maybe 8. And I went up there maybe 8 years ago, and everything was open. It was open in December, just so you know. Yeah, it was December. Yeah, it was December I went up there. And there was a little snow up there, but they didn't close the gate, so here's the thing. The road should still stay open, the gates. You don't need employees for that. Because guess what? There's a lot of gates that are open in the National Forest, so there's no reason to not let somebody go a mile up to the picnic area.
Mile, make a U-turn.
You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse. That's just dumb. It's just
I had service and then it went away.
I had service too earlier, but that's a bummer. That bums me out.
In 1 mile, turn right.
I remember you pulled right up to the lake and had a fence.
Yeah. Well, no, the lake don't have a fence. You can sit right on the shoreline. There's picnic benches. There's a loop trail that goes around the peak and along the lake for a little ways. It's nice. Huh? Yeah. He came here. Jared came here, and him and I, remember when we hiked above the mill together and we went to the tunnel? I got my feet wet with him, and I went up there, couldn't find the tunnel. I found a mine that went 50 feet back that I hiked back to the end to, but I couldn't find the Eureka tunnel. And I know it was up there, and it's just so overgrown now up there. None of it's maintained. It could be government cuts. There's they're doing some work cutting trees, but a lot of shit is not being maintained in that park. It's taking a dive, kind of. You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate, because I would love to go up to the lake. It's not the end of the world.
They haven't had the porta potty empty in a while.
Oh, I know. And they're not going to. But it is unfortunate, because I would love to go up there and let the dogs wander around the lake a little. And just, do a video, talk about the ski bowl and stuff. But there's a mill up there, too, on a little trail. I didn't get to see the Mammoth Mill. And that's just like 0.5 miles, and then you park and you can walk up to it. It's not far. They call it the ski bowl. I seen it in the state park. There's a map, and it showed me the little trail to the Mammoth Mill, and it said Mammoth Mill and ski bowl, and I've never seen that. But I just... I want to be able to drive. I don't want to hike up that rocky road. So, it's pretty here, though. I mean, it's pretty country. I just am a little disappointed, because, it's like more and more places are closing. More and more places are burning down. More and more places are not being taken care of here out west. And this is why, it reminds me of why I take so much videos and photos, because in 10 years, who knows if the mill will even be standing. That was it. You know what I'm saying? That Mohawk mill's falling apart. I went inside, walked around. It was never that bad inside. There was just debris, wood beams, debris everywhere. It wasn't like that 8 years ago when I went in. It was cleared. Now there's holes in the walls. This is where we're going, to the Jamison City mining camp.
At least the case.
Yeah, I'd be pissed if it wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Why not open the gate to the lake, the picnic area?
Because the road's so bad that they're figuring some idiot will go out there and get stuck and they don't have
I don't know.
people to help.
I've been on a lot of forest, even in the summer, where gates are closed years ago. They close what they want and keep open what they want. Anyway, folks. Anyways, everybody, we're on Jamison Mine Road. It's an old road. We're Jamison City, they called it, or Jamison Mining Camp or Mine Complex, as it's known today. You park. There's a parking lot up here, or an area you park with a kiosk and a trailhead. And if you want to backpack and take your tent and fishing poles, there's 4 lakes back here. And there's different trails that go off to different lakes. And you start off the hike down at the end of the road along the creek. And the creek goes behind Johnsville. But you start off here. Keep in mind, you start off here. And what you do is at the trailhead, you go about maybe 100, 200 feet. And you're in the Jamison City area. You go beyond Jamison City in the mine complex. You'll hit Grass Lake and other lakes in the Lake Basin, which are all part of the Sierra Buttes area and the Lake Basin area, which I love. I've gone backpacking out here multiple times, and I've been to multiple lakes and falls. But there's Jamison Upper Falls, Lower Falls. There are hidden waterfalls not too far from here. There's Grass Lake. There's some other lake, maybe Walker Lake or something. I don't remember, but there's 4 lakes back here, and it's good camping and backpacking. But what we're taking this road for is to do the ghost town of Jamison City. And it's right near the trailhead. So I'm not going to have to hike like 2 miles to get to it. It's all accessible right close by the trail entrance. And so I'm going to do my fair share. I'm going to spend a little time here with the dogs, let the dogs run around. I'm going to do my EVP, my video, my photography here. And eventually we will add it to our website and have our own little documentary, separate documentary. So you guys are kind of lucky because you kind of get to see everything that is involved with ghost towning. Driving around, videotaping, exploring on foot, hiking. I climbed earlier a wash. I mean, there's a lot involved when you're exploring. You want to see things. And plus, I'm a lucky guy. I got to explore the Mohawk Mill. Not many people could say they've done that. And I was on the first 2 levels. I didn't go to level 3 or 4. Too dangerous. But it's very solid, the first 2 stories. It's all concrete and wood beams. It's very, very sturdy. So, but you guys can see, when you lived in Jamison City, not much has changed. You lived literally in the forest. And you lived off the land too. You hunted deer, you hunted bear. This is why the Madu utilized this land until 1851. But during the gold rush, man, when the Europeans started pouring in, they cut almost every tree in this area. They ruined the habitat. So all the seeds and plant life that the natives were collecting, the white man came here and wiped it all out. And then they hired the Madu people to work at the Mohawk Mine Complex. And some of them even worked in Jamison City. And I'm pretty sure they did placer mining along the creek here. But they also, I believe there was also a hard rock mine at this location. But yeah, I mean, we're heading in, and pretty soon we'll be at Jamison City. About 0.6 miles, and this is where we'll finish our day, because I don't really have much more going on. I would have loved to go up to the lake and maybe even see the Mammoth Mill if I had time, but now it's closed, and I've seen more and more roads close, and these sites aren't taken care of. The government does not care. These sites are dying. They're dying because of the government, and a lot of Republicans, voters don't understand, like, these sites you enjoy in these rural areas are going to be gone because there's no funding for them, because the Republicans are taking it all away, and they're firing employees that take care of this forest and these ghost towns and these museums and all these places that I've taken you to today. And you can see a lot of them are in bad shape. The Mohawk needs attention, or it's not going to stand much longer. It's going to be a shell soon with just beams everywhere. I mean, come on, I walked right in, and they have it fenced in and barred off, and it was all just, there was areas like walls missing. You just walk in, it was like, yeah, it's in bad shape and peril. But we're in the middle of a government shutdown, and nobody seems to care. And it's like, look, if we don't take care of these places, your children's children won't be able to enjoy them, and you guys get to enjoy them through my work. But just because I show them to you doesn't mean I don't want you coming out to these. I'm putting these on our website and YouTube so you can come out and check them out yourself, because that's what's fun about going to these locations. So this is the camp. I can't read that. It says Camp Lisa. Yep. And you can, I mean, that's closed too, but you can camp out here. There's a couple campgrounds and primitive camping. You can camp. I'll even consider, if I still lived out this way, camping out here, because I haven't ever really camped out this way. I've done hiking, exploring, backpacking out here, ghost towns, but I've never camped in this region. Yeah, I think it might be pretty cool to camp out this way, along Jamison Creek and all. But we're almost at the mine, and there's our first building. Oh, right here. There's a bunch of buildings. So I think we'll start with this. I mean, this might be it right here, and this might be all that's left, but I don't think so. I think there's a little bit more than just some of these structures. These are part of the Jamison City homesteads, I'm guessing. So we're entering Jamison City. You can see there's structures there or structures here. But around the Plumas Eureka lode, mining began around 1851. So it's a pretty old area. Okay, so mining began here in Jamison around 1880s. The Jamison was sold to its Plumas Eureka neighbors in 1922. The underground workings are extensive, and a flooded 3-compartment main vertical shaft. It ran almost 300 feet deep. So it's a pretty good mining operation here. Not as big as where the Mohawk and Eureka tunnel, the Mohawk Mill is, or the Eureka tunnels. But we're along the Jamison Mine Trail. We're going to go to the mine area. This is probably the residential area, but I'm still going to show you guys what's all here. I mean, you have a right to see what this area offers. And what it offers is there are some structures. And I can't really, I mean, this came a little later than Johnsville, but it still was its own mine. But people lived here in Jamison City. My guess is these are homesteads or homes where the miners live. But it could be part of the mining office. It could be just like the Mohawk could be mining office, SA office. But these look more like homesteads, homes. They don't look like offices or part of the mine. The mine's up the road. So that's where you're going to get those kind of structures. This is probably miner cabins where the miners lived. I mean, look at the pipes. They had running water. I mean, most likely, once the mines played out in 1922, that was it. The town probably became abandoned, is my guess. But it was probably a bustling place if they called it Jamison City. You don't really call a mining camp Jamison City if it didn't have no businesses or commercial or residential or anything. So this is a little city in the woods. I'm not saying it was city size or as big as Johnsville, but that's what they called it, Jamison City. It's pretty cool. In 1922, the mines played out. But see, there are extensive structures here. This is the town site. And I mean, it's pretty phenomenal because this is the town site and up the trail is going to be the mine site. So, the mine and the mill site. This is pretty cool because honestly, think about this, okay? This is another little mining camp or ghost town site near Johnsville. Johnsville survived. Johnsville's older than Jamison City. Jamison City did not. But it was also a much smaller mine. They weren't as wealthy. Wealthier gold mining towns survived when the gold ran out, because by then there was a commercial district, so there was still money to be made. But this community was almost all based on the mine that was here, unlike Johnsville. So there's like a fenced in area, and it looks like to me, oh yeah, see there's a wood tailing right there, you see it? See that little wood post? Yeah, it's a filled in mine shaft or whatever. The mine had about 265 foot shaft. So it was it was a fairly deep shaft, but not as deep as the miles of tunnels in Eureka Peak, which is just, it's a massive peak. You guys can see it. It overshadows even Jamison City. But that's the thing. Jamison City didn't survive because Jamison City was too far away from Eureka Peak. So they did their mining in this area, their hard rock mining. And not just that, but hydraulic mining probably along Jamison Creek, I'm sure. Or some placer mining. But we'll start with this. This is the second. There's a structure about 100 feet down the road, which I took you guys to. And then there's another structure here and another structure here. And then those stables or barn. It's all original and old. And miraculously, it survived. Because it's good. Honestly, it's great to see that there's still buildings up here. Yeah, you can see it. Oh, ouch. Pretty cool. Swing over here, look. And that's where I was just at. Jamison City, folks. But see, that's the thing. It wasn't even though the mining went on in the 1920s, the mining that went on above Johnsville went on to the 1940s. That's the difference. So Jamison Creek Mine, Jamison City or Jamison Creek Mines played out. Still some pretty good sized structures. Fucking dude. Get a life, man. You have anything better to do than hang out at a ghost town with me? Serious. I got the Conservation Corps here. I'm coming back. This is ridiculous, dude. Everywhere I go, these fucking people are just, like, here today. Look at them all, dude. Yeah. No privacy. I'm gonna have to come back, everybody. I'll go up to the mines first, and on my way back, I'll come and film this. This is getting ridiculous. There is too many people here. And I'm just trying to get these structures documented for Jamison City. So they don't really consider this. They consider this a mining camp rather than a ghost town. But you'll see, I'm going to take you to past, once we get past the rustic buildings that you see here, I'm going to take you guys over to, this is a mining camp, you know? It wasn't really considered a town. But it's a historic site with remnants of the past of the Jamison Mine complex. You can find ruins including the Masonic Mine near the area, hiking trails to some of the old mines. There are some hiking trails to some of the old mines. This is This is a wash, a dry creek. You can kind of see some metal pipes put you on the ground. This had some running water. Some of them houses have pipes on them. Pretty innovative for such a remote camp. But we should see some old wheels, cogs, mining machinery, that kind of thing as we get closer to the Masonic Mine. It's not a distinct ghost town, but it is a mining camp. Just like Johnsville, kind of it's considered a town, but it's really more of a community or a mining camp as well. Honestly, I don't know what all was here. I'm pretty sure it was a couple saloons, maybe a hotel, that kind of thing. Your basic essentials. These are probably the livery stables. There's a picnic bench, so, you know, livery stables price. So we're going to come back. I'll talk more about the mine when we get to the Masonic Mine area. I'd rather do that. But here's a bridge crossing Jamison Creek. The trail does split off in two different ways up here. And so you can hike along Jamison Creek, or you can go over the creek and hike towards this. Actually, you take the trail back to the Eureka, the Mohawk Mill area. This trail will take you out over there. It splits off. And oh yeah, look. Up on the hill there's a giant red structure. So we're going to go ahead and there's a lot of cars. These are backpackers and cyclists, mountain bikers. You keep in mind there's miles of trails back here. So, I mean, it's a dream come true. It doesn't matter how you look at it. I don't know what building that is. That might be the mill, but it's huge. So, yeah, we're going to be here for some time. Pretty cool place. I'm telling you, it's a cool place. You can't drive to it. No cars. So everybody, at one time, when this camp opened up, it yielded a 52-pound nugget. That's a huge nugget. If I found a 52-pound nugget, I would be in heaven. That's a lot. Yeah, see? Jamison Mine trailhead. This is what we want. Although we might go on the bridge where the creek is just to take a look too. But I want to go up to the mine here. We don't have very far to go. So, you got Wade's Lake, Smith Lake, Grass Lake, and there's some other lake, and there's two waterfalls. We're not going very far. What we're going to do is we're going to go up to just the mine ruins, and so I can do my video or whatever and take some pictures. They call the mining camp Jamison City, okay? Or the Jamison Mine Complex, or the Jamison Mining Camp. It's just down the road from the Mohawk Mill in Johnsville. This one formed around 1880. It came later than Johnsville, but it still was a very lucrative camp at one time. Not considered a ghost town, but the mines did play out around 1922. If there's one 52-pound nugget, I bet you there's another. But mining began in the area around 1851. And here's the thing. Maybe even as early as 1849, but here's the thing, okay? I'm going to tell you something. Well, here's a wall, first off. This was a 3-compartment main vertical shaft. Like 3 stories, 3 different areas that it was worked for 265 feet. The shaft, so, I mean, the adit went down. There were several adits and shafts on the site, but the shaft went down to 265 feet deep. Unlike the Eureka Peak, had many deeper shafts. I mean, obviously, you're talking $20 million worth of minerals taken out of the $20 million taken out of the Eureka Mountain for the Eureka Mine, Eureka Tunnel, and Eureka Mine. But see, this camp became exhausted because in 1920, the Jamison Mining Company considered the mine to be uneconomic. It cost more to run it than to mine it. So it was leased to local miners, Saburo and Company of Johnsville nearby. And it says, from what I read, Winston, the lessees recovered considerable gold by stoping and several additional drifts. In 1921, the mine again was sold to NM Serdanovich and Plumas Eurekas Annex Mining Company for $12,000, which included all the outbuildings and structures that are here. Okay, this is quite the complex that's here. But you know what? They see the building coming up? Official estimates at the time say the sale of total production of Jamison, they placed it at over 2 million was made here. 1922 it was recognized that the known reserves were largely exhausted. In 1924, the Plumas Eureka Annex Mining Company reported the holdings of a 412-acre patented lode, 300 acres of unpatented lode, 160 acres of unpatented placer. So they did do placer mining along the creek. If I were to take a gold pan down below, I could actually... But when they assayed this, it was between $6 and $16 a ton of ore to run the 20 stamp mill for many years. There was a stamp mill. I don't know if this is the mill site. I don't know what this structure is. But once we get up here, we'll see. It's a big structure. That's what I'm saying. This may not, I don't know why they call it Jamison City. I have no clue what stood here, what these buildings were. I know some of them are homesteads for the miners, but they had running water here. This was a sophisticated town. There was water pipes. I mean, this is probably the mill, but they had here 20 stamps. And when the new vein opened up, it measured 4 to 14 feet thick and averaged. So this is the mine complex, biggest building so far. They had 20 stamps. That's a big mill. The Mohawk had 60 stamps. That's even a bigger mill. But the complex back here has a series of buildings as well. Pretty cool. I mean, it is part of the state park, but it's its own separate mine camp, and that's why we don't want to include it. I want to give it its own place, because it's still a mile and a half from Johnsville in the state, the Eurekas mill and mine. It's still, I mean, it's a pretty good distance. So it's going to get its own location, Jamison City, and I don't care. I think it should. Because it's such a huge complex of old buildings. And they're in good shape, believe it or not. Hey, go. But the state park owns this property as well. I mean, we're still in the state. It's a big state park. But this is just another site you can check out. You have Johnsville. You have the cemetery. You have the Eureka Plumas Mohawk Mill area. You have Jamison City. It's just so amazing how much is back here. But it has to get its own location. Because it has its own story and history. Does that make sense? Its own closure, its own worth. $2 million, still a pretty good penny for back in that time. Yeah, I know. I can't either. I'm shocked. So... everybody, I had to go back to my truck to get something. I was only 400 feet from my truck, so I jogged down and jogged up. It took me 5 minutes. If you pay attention, you'll see all kinds of little pipes and debris on the ground as well. I mean, it's not a... Here's the thing. It's very extensive, Jamison City. I don't know why they called it a city. It's really not a city. But... it is historically significant, as you can see. I mean, it's too bad you can't explore the inside of these places. There's a lot of little stone walls, little walkways like up there. It was still a lucrative mine. But it didn't, they played out during the First World War, basically. Well, the Mohawk played out around World War II, or stopped milling along with the mining stopped in the 40s. But here it stopped in the 20s, so this has all been abandoned since the 20s, at least, bare minimum. And I mean, it's a phenomenal building that's here. I'd be really stupid to not. Let's just say. We're going to go up the trail because there is more mining equipment further up the trail. We'll see if there's anything further. But if not, we'll turn around. Because it's quite possible that this is it. But I don't think so. They talk about big wheels further up and other mining equipment. So I would love to get pictures of some of that as well. I'm not one of these guys that quits on you early. I'm going to look and find what I can find. But we'll go up this side right here. And you can see there's another one of these walls. A lot of walls. So you could tell this was quite extensive and organized. Just by the fact that there's walls everywhere, you know. It's a cool building, but it's a well-visited area. The parking lot's full. It's mainly backpackers and cyclists, and there's some old people with their dog, you know. It's a good place to hike and wander, but it's not a... You know what I mean? A lot of people just walk past this. They don't really think twice about Jamison City like I do. I think about this kind of stuff, kind of shit, because I'm into history. So I'm here to see this. They're here to see the lakes. You can hear Jamison Creek flowing. They probably use hydraulics to kind of wash away some of that. Yep. See, there's a lot of this looks like it's been washed away, probably from hydraulic mining along the creek. Not even that. You have pipes, so it probably just ran right off and eroded the side, and you have a pile of wood, which could be mill ruins, could be anything on the side of the creek. It could have been a miner's cabin that collapsed and skimmed down the side or was washed away. Kona. No. But you get the idea. So, I mean, we have two more buildings here. We have another one just 100 feet away. You go further down, there's stables, 3 more miner cabins. So this is like our, let's see, 3, 4, 5. This is my 7th structure right here. These 2, no, there's 8. There's one behind. So it's 8 so far. Was it worth coming here for 8 structures? Sure. Sure. I mean, I go to some ghost towns, I don't even see that many structures, so I'm kind of lucky. And look at the foundation to the complex. Stones, not cement, not concrete, fitted stones. 3 stories high. 3 stories. It's amazing. But the building's huge at the mine complex, okay? You have to understand around when they came here, the Sierra Buttes Mining Company that came here mined from 1887 until about 1919. Then they started leasing it out, and other companies started buying it up. It just was not lucrative. A lot of these wooden boardings you see boarded up were boarded up by the state park, and they're in good shape. They're still here. Unless a fire occurs, they will be here for a long time. They're not cheaply made. But when they dug the new vein here at the complex and have been opened up 4 to 14 feet thick and they averaged about $10 a ton, which wasn't bad. It wasn't that low of grade gold found here. But in 1925, the mine changed hands. That was the last time it changed hands again to the Jamison Mining Company. And F.J. Beneminen trustee. He limited development. It was limited development here between 1925 and 1927 after the First World War. But there wasn't much more valuable ore remaining. It was pretty tapped out, the mining road. You see all the little rocks from the ore and all that, and all the stone? And it gets really rugged going up to the waterfall, but the mine's not there where the waterfall is. But anyways, folks, as I was saying before, it was from like, the Jamison Mining Company just mined it briefly in this location, and the Plumas Eureka Mining Company in 1928 took control again. But the president of the company was trying to promote the property with inflated statements that the mine produced over $6 million. In the 1930s, the mine passed the hands of the Carnation Gold Mining Company. No known records, the operation. 1941 to 43, lessees treated 489 tons of ore here and 401 tons of old tailings with an amalgamation bullion and a concentration plant here, or at least mill, and shipped 112 tons of ore and 3 tons of concentrates to a smelter. Amalgamation bullion contained 103 ounces of gold and 13 ounces of silver. Smelted ore yielded 144 ounces of gold, 38 ounces of silver, and concentrates smelted contained contained about 11 ounces of gold and 3 ounces of silver. Mining ceased in 1943. So when I said it ended around the World War, it did. But it had some smaller booms all the way up until around 1943. And then in 1959, the property was acquired by the state of California, which is now part of the Plumas Eureka State Park. And the Jamison Mine, they also called it the Plumas Eureka Annex Mine. So, you know, it has a lot of names. Here's the thing about it, okay? The workings lie at an elevation of 5,300 feet along Jamison Creek, 0.5 miles south of the confluence with Jamison Creek. Quartz ledges punctuate topography. I'm hoping we can go a little ways and at least see the mine. Like, you could see it. Because there's supposed to be along the way some tailings, some equipment. But, I mean, there's not much. The meat of things is here. This building, the 8 buildings I showed you is the meat of things. Winston, stop stiffing me. But this is where they found the 52-pound nugget nearby. And you can hear the creek. It's flowing. It is a active creek. It always has been. And so there was silver, gold was mined here along with, they had 2 types of mining. They had a couple mines that were deep. But they also had here, I'd imagine in the hillside here, somewhere along the left, along the trails where the mine is. However, they also mined, see where down below this little area, they also mined at the creek level, they did placer mining, because gold flakes were carried by the stream below. And I'll take you down where the bridge is before I leave to show you the creek. But this area, I'll tell you what this area is known for, Jamison Falls. Upper and lower, and they just came back from the falls and they're like, wow, that first like half mile or 500 feet is like excruciating to the top. It's like, fuck that shit, you know what I mean? My knees have been doing good, so but I don't want to like Jesus, that's got to kill the knees. But anyways, it just gives you an idea of how remote and rugged this area is. If you were a miner, I mean, you could hike up to the lakes and do a little fishing and shit as a miner, but it's rugged wilderness here. We're not in Kansas anymore. We're not near a major city. Supplies was limited, and this here is the mine road. You see how rugged it is? Because the reason why is the rocks fell out of the back of the ore wagons as they shipped out ore to the Mohawk mine, because not everything was stamped mill. When there wasn't no mill, you sent it to the Mohawk here. The Mohawk actually did a lot mining wise. Like they actually had multiple mines they serviced or processed for a small fee. I mean, you know, so much per ore. And it goes underground. And I know this is all confusing because people don't have the attention span to listen to me talk about who owned the mine, this is the year that. I mean, you're talking about, this has changed hands like 8 different times. And there's been multiple booms here. Even though the main mining ended, or the mining camp ended in 1919, still people came up here to lease the mine and work the mine up here. So there was more than one boom. See? There's pipes. Okay, this stay. These are the stamp mill ruins, I believe. Some kind of mill ruins, look. Actually, you know what this is? This looks like either this is where a mill stood, but I think what it is they probably had some kind of, see how like circular, maybe they had a pipe that ran down and right down the side. Come on, Winston, let's go. Like this. But you see that? So I'm going to try to hike out to, see there's a pipe there. So there's a pole up here. See, here's the trail. I must have cut in the wrong way. There we go. So I'm going to go a little ways up. I'm not going to go too far. And I'm going to see if I can locate the damn mine. It's steep, trust me. It gets steep for the first half a mile here. It's going to get real steep on the way to the waterfall. I'm not going that far, although I would love to see it. But the mine complex is pretty big. Most of it surrounds the creek to my right. But there's also other, you see how this area is open? Yeah, they probably had a couple structures back here at one time too. A lot of little foundations along the trail. Yeah, this is open and cleared. See how it's all flat and kind of gravelly? And there's rocks. There was a wall there. Yeah. This is also part of the complex, but yeah, see there's TNT, some rusty parts around. Like here, I'll show you. Okay, here you go. Some kind of can, maybe a gas canister, maybe a, I'm guessing TNT box, TNT canister. Something stood here. There's a little bit of a collapsed wall over here, but yeah, it's not. But I want to see if I can find anything else before I turn around. But if you were to go backpacking here, there's a bunch of trails that lead to lakes and some pretty cool areas. I believe there's more mining remnants up here. So I'd like to find them before I head back. And here's the thing. I plan on stopping at the structures now that those guys will be gone. It was just too much for me to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much. I couldn't deal with the noise. I mean, distinctly, you can't really call Jamison City a ghost town. But I don't know what was all here. Most likely they had, wow, this is rugged. Most likely they had a saloon, probably a hotel here, or a couple boarding houses, maybe a general store, real basic mining camp. The mill, the mines, but that's it. I don't really see, I'm gonna go a little ways more, but I do not see see anything else. You know, it's possible a little further down the trail I might come across some mining remnants, but I'm thinking that this is it. It's very steep, the trail, but it's even more steep off the edge here. And then, you know, there's a flat area up there. Mine might be up there. But yeah, I think it climbs like this for 500 feet to a half a mile. So I don't want to go too high. I'm not trying to hike to the waterfall. At this rate, I'll almost be there. But yeah, another open area. There's probably some cabins down here where miners lived. Tents even. A lot of times, a lot of miners lived in tents. So, it depends. The mine, this would have been an old mining trail rather than a hiking trail. So, if you see a lot of rocks, the rocks were brought here by the wagons, the ore carts. I'm sure. If there was any mines up here, which the mines might be back in the woods behind me. But I read on a website, if you hike up here, you'll see some giant wheels and stuff. So maybe, just maybe up here, I'll get to see something cool. I don't know. Yeah, this is rugged. This is brutal. Look, it flattens out. Not bad. I told that married couple, I'm like, I'm not going up there to the top. Well, guess what? I'm at the top. If you were a miner, you were built like a fucking brick house. Okay, now it's starting to go up even more. So I think I'm at the point of no return. I don't see anything. There might be some mining remnants somewhere along the trail. I just don't know where. I think this is it. You know, I'll have to head back down. It's good hiking, but it's also very rugged. See, when you get to the top of the ridge here, it flattens out. So. Oh yeah. I was hoping to see some tailings. I seen a few. Fencing area had some tailings. But I know there's some up here possibly too. Alright. I can't imagine backpacking with all your gear up here. Oh yeah, look. It just keeps going. There's no end to it. Wow. Yeah. I'm gonna turn around. I've gone about 600 feet and it still just keeps climbing. I mean, I just don't know. When it levels off, I think, oh, I'm done. And I found out there's another couple hundred feet like this. So, but it's still nice. If you veer off to the right, you can see the falls. I just don't know how far away they are. It. Even if I don't see nothing, the hike is good just to show you how rugged it is. Now, whether this is the mines maybe up here, which is why maybe this is such a rocky little trail, or there's nothing up here and I've already gone past that point of the mines and the mining camp. But I'm gonna go over here and turn around. I just wanted to go do a little bit of a half mile to a mile in and just show you guys, see if I can see what else, see some other sights. But yeah, it's uphill and it's a steep grade. Oh yeah, look at that, holy shit. Wow. Alright, I'm done. I've lost 10 pounds on this trail of myself. So that's it. You know, it's a really cool place. I just don't think there's much more to see. But I will take some more pictures and photographs of the buildings on my way out. I will. It's very, I don't know how to explain it, But there's so much loose rock and big steps. And the thing is you think you're going to see a lot of the mines and other foundations along the trail, but I don't see nothing but a bunch of overgrown hillsides covered in fallen trees. So even if something's over here, who knows if you'll ever see it. This area is the underbrush is thick. It's very overgrown back here, even on the hillsides, you know. I would love to find some tailings in the wheel they're talking about, but my guess is that I just can't find it at the complex, or it's another mile up the trail to when I get to the top, which might be where the mine is and the shaft. I don't know. But that fenced-in area, that looks like a filled-in flooded shaft. That's what it says on my notes, that the shaft is completely flooded. And that was all fenced off, and there was a tailing. My guess is that water, that's probably the mine shaft, where all the complex is. So I don't think there's anything else past this point. But I do find it strange that this is such a rugged, rocky trail. Like, why is there so many rocks? For example, why do we have so many rocks and there's just no dirt available? I take a lot of hiking trails in the mountains, and there might be a few rocks here and there, but this is ridiculous. I don't even see the dirt, the ground, unless I step off the trail. You know what I'm saying? It has all the... I go to a lot of mine trails, a lot of mines, and when you see rocks like this, generally means there's another mine nearby. So I'm going to assume higher up there's a mine. And they probably brought it down ore cart on this road here, and pieces of rock fell off the back and down the hillside, and they probably towed it a cart via ox. I'm sure of it in the 1800s, because the mill site's down here. You could tell by the foundations. At least one of the mill sites. But it's not you know what, I don't regret coming up here. But, yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue to head down. It's too rocky. It's hot today, too. For a fall day, it's hot today. But I'm proud of myself for being able to come here. You guys, I want you guys to understand something, all right? I've spent like 7-8 years trying to come to this place. I always thought Jamison City. And yeah, I've seen a picture, maybe 2 pictures of the buildings up here and thought, those are cool. But then when I came up here and seen all the other buildings, wow, they're nice looking buildings for that era. They're preserved. They're in good shape. They are. They're in great shape. So, you know, everything comes full circle. I come out here and I didn't get to do the Mammoth Mill. I didn't get to do the lake again or go up to the peak. But I did get to see the mining complex here in Jamison City. Why they call it a city if it wasn't even a ghost town, or I mean, they consider it a ghost town on some sites, but really it's just a mining camp. But why they would call it Jamison City, I don't understand, because it doesn't seem like it had many commercial structures. It seems like those are miner cabins where miners lived, and outbuildings for the mill and for ore processing. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I don't see like a post office and a saloon and a restaurant, and like you go in Johnsville, you see restaurants, you see remnants of businesses, a cemetery. This wasn't really a town. So why they called it Jamison City, I don't know. But everything was based off the Jamison Mine here. And it's hard to, I don't know if the mine was way on top of this trail, boy, those miners, they had to be built like a brick house. Because this is, can you imagine every day having to climb this just to go to the mines? Because usually the mines are above. At a lot of mining camps I go to, the mining camps are, a lot of mining camps I go to, the mines are sometimes pretty high up in the mountain side. And so that's what I was thinking here, but I could be wrong. I read people's notes, how they talk about tail ends, and they talk about when they walk past there's a giant wheel, and I don't see any giant wheel. So it could be, here's the thing. I'm going to go down where the creek is, the lower level, and just take a quick look around, because I see a lot of pipes below. Maybe I'll find some mining remnants below, but this area is tapped out as far as what we can look for here. It gets dark up here early too, so I don't have a lot of time. But I'm almost off. It's excruciating, to climb this. And I talked to a group of hikers and they just said, they were just making jokes about it, and now I see what they mean. Holy shit, that's a fucking grade. I almost made it to the top. Honestly, I probably wasn't that far away from seeing the falls, but I'm tapped out, man. I can't go any further. I'm lucky I went this far, and I don't even mind the hike. I'm here to exercise, too. I'm not just here to see the ghost town. I want to hike around the Plumas forest, so it's a good hiking area. It's just this trail's not my ideal of having a great time. Trying to climb this is hell to pay. Brutal. It's brutal. It is just brutal, Like it's not something I would enjoy. However, if you can get past this and do the first mile and get past the incline, it levels off and then you can start heading out. There's a basin up on top, a lake basin, and you can go out to different lakes, and that's pretty cool. And that's not too strenuous, but what you got to be able to do is you got to be able to get to the top of this, the incline. But this trail offers it all. This trail offers the fucking mines, the mining camp, lakes, nature, the creek, waterfalls. It is an all-around hike. I highly recommend, if you're in good shape and you can do it, go for it. I personally myself, I don't know if I can handle that at this point in my life, given what's happening to my knees and back, and my crumbling bones in my neck are just killing me right now. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's far enough. But I made it pretty far, and I got a feel for what the miners of Jamison City would have been doing, which is hiking around this area up on the hillsides. And so I got a good idea. Like I said, I try to put myself in the same situation, and climbing up there would have been the same thing some miners did if they were mining the ledges around Jamison City. You'd have to climb around to mine the ledges with pickaxes, whatever. I realize they had a regular mine here, but the early miners that came here just used pickaxes, gold pans, and they just would get the gold out of the Jamison Creek, pickaxe some of the rocks, and when they realized there was some gold here, word got out, and eventually a mining camp formed here with real structures, not tents, but real structures, like the ones you've seen that I showed you today, all the red ones. So I made my descent down and getting leveled off eventually, but here's the thing. I wanted to put everything in perspective. I want to feel like when the miners came here, they only had pickaxes, shovels, gold pans. And they would get the placer gold of the running water, and they realized there was gold up here, and they might mine some of the ledges along the hills here. Word got out. A mining camp formed. It wasn't a tent city. It was a mining camp with actual decent structures and a 20-stamp mill, and pipes, running water. And here's the thing. there was multiple booms. So that gave those, with each boom, they can modernize some of the structures in some of this area with this more modern means of extracting gold and silver from here. So it had its booms, but basically Jamison City was pretty much done by 1919. After that, the booms that occurred, there wasn't anybody living here. It was just companies and private people leasing this area and coming up here to do a little mining and a little bit of milling. So there was a couple booms time to time here, but you know, I try to put myself in perspective. So hiking around the area, looking around, getting a feel for it is a good thing. It's just being part of the history here. It's not about, I didn't mind the hike, but man, you know, I got degenerative disc disease. My neck is crumbling. Like, I am in excruciating pain, and I am just so glad that I was able to at least see some of this, or most of this, because this was 8 years in the making. It really was. And we're back up right here. It's a pretty cool place. It really is. Like I said, I don't have regrets coming here. 8 years in the making, maybe 7 or 8 years. And I missed the road to come up here. I didn't know none of this was here. And then later I found out you could hike. It's a nice little fall. In the fall, it's a nice little hike. And you come up to the complex. And it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just so hard to say. Because, like, for example, if you go off to your right, you'll see some boards and pipes here. There is things scattered in the woods, and we gotta try to find the remnants. You know what I'm saying? These places don't give up its secrets easy. You have to be willing to climb around, check out sites and different things. Like there's a beam back here, a big ass beam, and so I mean, you know, there's signs of mining activity. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, actually in the 1959, they still did a little mining here. It just wasn't a very, you have to understand, it wasn't a very, I mean, it had its little booms for a couple years here and there. But after 1919, that was it. They're just, see, there's another beam over there. Yeah, I mean, it's scattered. But yeah, I don't know why they would call it a city. A lot of times, you know what, I've been to 2 other mining camps like that were named something city. And there's just a few structures left, and they were small. But I guess back in those days, they would call something a city that had, for example, a mining camp might have a saloon, a hotel, and a couple small businesses plus the mine, and you still call it a city. I don't know how many men live back here or work back here. Because here's the thing. People stopped living back here around 1919. After that, people just came up here to lease the mines. They didn't really live here anymore. There was no services, nothing available. You see what I'm saying? They just, see, there's wood beams down there, so it could be that's all that's left of this area. But you get what I'm saying. Like, there wasn't many services here. Not like Johnsville. Johnsville was a nice town. Johnsville boasted many different structures, sites, saloons, hotels, the whole shebang. While Jamison City was a lot like the Mohawk Mill area. The mill was here, the miners may have lived here at a boarding house or some of the cabins, and that was it. If you wanted supplies, you could go up to Johnsville, go to the store, get supplies. Go to Johnsville, pick up your mail. I don't think there was ever a post office here, so it's really not a ghost town, even though some people consider that. It's really not. But that's okay. Still a really cool place to check out. And it's a rewarding place, but if you want to see more of the town, I mean, yeah, I know the brush is thick, but go left to right of the trail. You'll find tailing. I'm sure you'll find rusty equipment. And I mean, there's walls. I see walls in the distance. So I'm thinking that there was quite a bit along this little trail and mine complex area. It was pretty extensive. And I mean, let's face it. Yeah, there's 8 buildings. But probably back in the 1880s, there was probably 30 or 40 buildings. So, I mean, obviously this camp was much bigger than what's left. But it's still, what's left is in still pretty good shape. I mean, it's still pretty extensive. But I'm proud, I mean, this place is decent. See, I'm one of these ghost town and mine camp enthusiasts that when I learn about a place, it sticks with my head for a long time till I see it. So I think for 7 or 8 years, every once in a while, I kept thinking, in the fall, around September, October, I'll come up here, hike around, see what I could see, find what I could find. And I finally had gotten to do it on my way home. Yeah, see, there's the bridge across the way. So I'm going to get back to my truck and put my bag down, and then I'm going to go over to the bridge over the creek so I can finish up at the creek before I head out of here. And I'll stop at the buildings on my way out one last time to film for you guys, because I want you guys to be able to, those guys were cutting in trees, and I understand they have a job to do, but it's just like, man, if you just gave me 10 minutes, I'll be in and out of your hair, you know. And they're all walking around the conservation corps. Let's cut this, let's remove this and that. You know, it's because they're trying, you know why they're doing it? I'll tell you why they're doing that. It's so that there's no fire hazards. Because if you have brush and bushes growing next to these structures and they catch on fire, bye-bye. So I think that's great what they're doing. I'm not shunning it or pissed. I just figured I'll come back when they're done. This is definitely a mining road, though, that we're on. You can, I mean, honestly, you could tell. You could totally tell. All the little rocks and pieces of ore. This is what you don't bring for processing. This shit right here, just they dump it off and take the quartz to be processed, because that's where the gold's found, not in this granite, or not in this rocky, this type of geology. So, but you can definitely tell that this is, you know, this whole rocky area is, probably a lot of this rock fell off an ore wagon, or. So I'm about to take off. It's starting to get dark back here, so I got a little bit more time to film, take some photos, but it gets dark early back here. I mean, Eureka Peak overshadows the area, but it's weird because you had two different sister mining camps here, and one dealt with Eureka Peak. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's all part of Eureka Peak down below, but one dealt with the upper peak, and one was more built along this Jamison Creek, which I'm about to cross on the bridge. And I mean, technically we're near Johnsville, but we're a mile or 2.5 miles away, this mining camp. And so, you know, it's two different mining areas, two separate mining areas, very similar type of mining. They dug shafts and tunnels. But the difference is between Eureka Peak, they didn't do placer mining at Eureka Peak because there was no creek higher up on the mountain. There were some washes, but this is where you'd want to be with a gold pan, right along the creek, where you could, you know, do some placer mining, that kind of shit. So the creek, this is Jamison Creek. God, it's so fresh. And you can hike, if you take this way, you'll end up at the Mohawk Mill in the Eureka Plumas mining camp, where the Eureka Tunnel is, which, you know, so about 1.5 miles is the Eureka Mine, the Eureka Tunnel. While you had the Jamison City mine along Jamison Creek, just down the road. I mean, it's really a beautiful place. I mean, don't discount it. I mean, if you're going to come here, do some hiking. Enjoy this place for what it is. Because I'm telling you, this place may not exist one day. And I mean, this creek can go up to the bridge, so any mining remnants close to the water are probably gone. But you know as well as I do, they did some gold panning back in the early days of the gold rush. You know it. You know it. But I'm going to go down here real quick because I just want to see the creek. Jamison Creek's pretty cool. They got a place you can camp at that's down here, just below the hill. Yeah, you can camp right here on the creek. But I mean, today, there's still gold in this flowing. Even if it's tapped out, years of rain and erosion, there's gold in here. If you want to get down there with a gold pan, you'll probably get some gold specks. As good as it's going to get. But I noticed when I was down up above in the complex looking down the hill, a lot of like not tools, just a lot of pipes, things like that. And if there's a way to get down the steep embankment, you might find some more parts of Jamison City, like some relics of the past. But when I say relics, what I'm talking about, okay, when I say relics, I'm talking about like pipes and TNT blasting boxes, shit like that. There isn't really anything else. You have the bridge that expands the creek, and you can cross the bridge and you could go to the other mining camp. This bridge is the mining camps. So to have a sister camp of Eureka Tunnel and the Mohawk Mill mining area, and then Johnsville is pretty cool because we actually get to have a cool little place in the same area. But it's its own entity and has its own story and its own downfall. And I'll, on my site, I'll do a better write-up than I can do producing a film because I'm busy filming and watching my footing, so I have to be careful. It's hard for me to concentrate, but I will talk about the camp more in detail. I'll have to go get some archives of all that was up here, but my guess is a saloon, maybe a hotel or boarding house, maybe a small supply store, the mill, the mine, and then of course your residential homes, and then there's your stables, and in the homes I showed you, the mining homes, which we'll pass by on our way out. So, real quick, I'm heading out of here, but just want to show you the backside of this. I didn't really want to go around. I had all these people around here, so I was just like, I'm getting the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? But that's the backside. I mean, these were stables. Maybe it was a workshop, blacksmith. I don't know. Maybe both. Maybe stables and a blacksmith. I really don't know. I think it was livery stables or a garage or a workshop. Actually, a workshop. But it's 2 stories, which means that they probably lived above and worked below. But when you go to the front, barn-style door, and that looks like kind of like an upper loft. So I'm thinking, yeah, this could be stables. It's hard to know what's what. I mean, you're looking at, decades has passed, and there's so very little documentation I could find online about Jamison City. Although a lot of sites say it's a ghost town, it's really not. It's a mining camp. I still call mining camps ghost towns because, I mean, people lived here. They don't live here anymore. It's non-existent. It's a ghost town. They lived in these houses around here and made their lives for years with their families. Mom may have baked bread while the son and the daughter played outside while the husband worked up at the mines up the hill. I mean, you gotta remember, these miners had families. Not all of them were single guys. They lived in these houses. They brought their kids, their wife, and kids got sick and kids died. When the white man came to this area, most of the Madu were wiped out because of disease. But it's funny how karma works, because then the Europeans started getting sick up here a lot too, and dying as well. Because, higher population spreads disease. The pandemic spreads, yellow fever, the influenza, pneumonia, I mean, all that, people catch all that, rheumatoid fever, all these little things came through here, and miners lost their children, and if the children didn't die, the miners died up in the, I'm going to walk around this real quick, but the miners would end up passing away because mining was dangerous. Milling accidents, mine shaft accidents, that kind of thing. It was a dangerous, very dangerous career. But it was lucrative, too. If you were a miner, some mines paid decently. But if you were the foreman in the mine, you sometimes got your own nice residence, and you made more than the miners actually mining. The men in charge of the mines could tell you what to do and sit around and make all the money, almost. Or the mine owners. While the miners here would bust their ass inside the tunnels. I'm going to walk around real quick, everybody, just show you. Because there was people here earlier. So I just didn't want to really mess around with anybody. I was trying to walk over here to get some video, and then all of a sudden it was like 5 people standing right by this tree stump where I'm at. And I'm just like, shit, because I wanted to just get some video before they take off. But it's really cool. like I say, these were decent-sized miner cabins. So you have to think that one miner didn't live here alone. So either it was a group of miners, like a boarding house scenario where they put a couple miners per cabin, or the miners came here with their children and their wife and lived here for a while because it was lucrative and there was a job here for many, many years. And maybe they lived here with their families, with their wife and kids, and the wife might, like I say, might be baking bread, cooking in the kitchen, while the kids might go to school in Johnsville up the road and come home and, during the summertime, run around and play in the woods while dad's working a few hundred feet up the hill here at the mines. It's very possible. You had to understand, these men had to take care of their families. A lot of these men had 3, 4, 5 kids. They had to feed their families. They had to work. And so, yeah, I mean, people don't realize that mining camps were just home for some miners while they were employed. I mean, a lot of miners lived in camps. Some brought their families, some didn't. But when they had enough money saved or there was another boom, they would quit employment, let's say at a mine like this, and move on to maybe another mine down the road a couple miles or another camp. You were kind of transient when you were a miner. You may stay at a place for 3, 4 years, live in a cabin like this for 3, 4 years, do your mining, and then at some point leave and move on to another town nearby. It's the way it was. It was a very spur-of-the-moment type of life. If the mine died, you were out of work and you had to move on to a new camp. So I just want to give you guys that insight here. But these buildings probably were abandoned around 1919. And they probably weren't used. Once people were leasing the mine, they probably lived in Johnsville or in a bigger town and just came up here to work the mines at some point. So there's a room here, and then the floor is kind of ripped out, but it goes along the corner and along into the front. So this may have been a small room, maybe a storage room, maybe they had a cot. There's also a room back here. You're not going to see it too well. It's too dark. I can try to lighten it, but there's another story up here, or steps going up to a door. So I'll describe it to you. See how it's slanted? So it goes up some steps to this door, and there's another door this way, like this, past that door, and it goes into the main part of the house. So I took some pictures inside through the holes, just to kind of, with my flash, just to kind of see how it was set up. It's a pretty good sized house, actually, for its time period it was built. And I doubt, maybe some of the richer men lived here that owned the mine or were working the maybe the owners, maybe the mine manager or the people that ran the mine maybe lived in these houses. But if you were a regular miner that lived in this house, then this was a decent sized home with a couple bedrooms, and he probably had a family, probably had a wife and at least a child or two, kind of like Maziel's house. That house with the white picket fence, they had children. And they lived in that house. The family lived in that house. Mom, Dad, Maziel. So yeah, kids lived up here. Kids lived up here in the 1800s. Dad worked, Mom stayed home and took care of the house, the household. So yeah, I mean, definitely. And it looks like they're to put these in. It's not going anywhere to hold up the home, because you can look, the roof's starting to cave in. I mean, come on. Sometimes they get 20 feet of snow up here. That's what's happening. And if that caves, it may push the wall out. So that's why they're pushing in on it to help prolong the caving in of the roof. But I mean, other than that, that structure's really sound. This structure's got a really good roof for its time period. And this one, the roof is hurting, but it's a decent sized structure. So that's about it, folks. We're going to head out of here for the night. I want you to do me a favor. Check out our site, www.paranormalghostsociety.org, for sites like these. We've done, in the last 20 years, I've done almost 2,000 explorations. There's at least like 1,800 individual locations we've done. Some are second visits, but individual locations, at least 1,800 I've done in the last 20 years. And, at least I'd say about 400 or 500 of them are mining camps and ghost towns like this. So I'm sorry that the camera has a little bit of a mark on the lens. My other camera broke down. So I had to use this camera, and I don't care. I just want to show you guys what's here. If you want to get up off your ass and if you want to get up off the couch and see these places, come to them yourself. I'm showing you the road. I'm giving you all the know-how, the ticket, to get you motivated so you can discover things yourself. Don't just rely on me. This is here in case the place burns down. We can preserve the history through our photos and videos. And it will someday. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. This is an area prone to fires. This is not going to be here forever. If it does last another 100 years, it's going to be pretty dilapidated by that time. It's wood. Wood eventually rots and dry rots and termites get to it. You know what I'm saying. So we're lucky what's here. We're lucky what's here. But 8 buildings, Jamison Mine Camp, or Jamison City Camp, Jamison City Mining Camp. I'm going to head on out of here. You guys have a good night. Make sure you check out our site. Go to the investigation archives from the main page, and you can go through our portals and see all our cases and places, and subscribe to our YouTube. We got about 400 documentaries coming out in the next few years of places like these. And we're going to head home before it starts to get too dark. It's 1.5 miles to the highway, and then we'll head on off of here, descend off of Eureka Peak, which goes for miles. It's gradual as you go down the Portola. We'll start descending off Eureka Peak. That's how big this mountain is. So we got a ways to go, but have a good night, everybody. One last look. These are the miner cabins, these rustic cabins the miners lived in. And there's also one in through the trees you can see. So we're leaving, everybody. Gonna be heading home, but this is Jamison City Mine Road, or Jamison Mine Trail Road, and I mean, this is it. There's also something I wanted to photo on our way out. If I see it, I'll photograph it. I don't think I'll see it, but there's Camp Lisa. But on our way out, there's also some miner cabins made of wood logs that I filmed last. I would love to film those on my way out if I see them. I got pictures of them, so even if you don't see video, I'm going to include pictures with the video of my first expedition up here so you could see those cabins. Look at that pipe that's out there. Wow. Jesus. It's quite extensive, this area, you know? The milling and the mining here is extensive. Really. But it's still like 1.5 miles to Johnsville, so I mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's some boondocks living here, you know? But it's still a really cool place to go up here. All these little camps. This is all state park. This is state park where we're at, too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's nice. People came up to get their engagement photos.
Yeah. It is a nice place. I mean, you can camp, you can hike, you can fish, gold pan. I mean, there's history everywhere. It is a nice area. And I'm happy because I got to see, I did the Mohawk Mill, lost all the footage. And this time I went back and got footage I didn't get my first time anyways. I got the first level and the second level. I didn't get the second level last time, only the first level. And it was brief. This time I actually was able to do some filming inside the mill. But I mean, you know what I'm saying. I've been wanting to do this camp for 8 years. I only seen a picture of 1 or 2 of the buildings, so I didn't know there was this many buildings up here. There was like 8 or 9 buildings in total.
We're so close. Why did
We just didn't turn off. I passed the road and wondered, but I never took it. You know? There's so much to see up here. I still didn't see it all. There's a mammoth mill up by the fucking lake. Never got to see that either. I may have thought about going there. It was a quick stop, but the lake road was closed, so fuck it. Look, see, also I noticed there was like pipes in some of the homes. So this area had running water early on. There was probably, you know what I mean, some of these fucking places around here had actual running, like Cherokee was one of the earliest towns with running water. So, I mean, some of these mining towns were sophisticated, I went to, even though they were from like the 1850s or 60s. This place was from the around 1880. It was built, this camp came a little bit after Johnsville, and it really wasn't a ghost town. It was a mining camp. And I don't have much information about all that was here. Probably a saloon, a store, and that kind of shit. But I mean, yeah. But I mean, not much. There wasn't that much. It was all just a mining camp, the mill, and the mine that was back here. Just like the Mohawk Mill and the state park. That was a mining camp too. But then there was a hotel there, and there was like a store and a post office or something else. Then when Johnsville came, the camp kind of died, and that area just was for working only and mining and milling, and everybody else lived in Johnsville or in town, which is only a couple 100 feet down the road, you know. But like, this is its own entity, and it doesn't really have much to do with the Eureka Mines or the Mohawk Mill or even Johnsville. It's its own camp back here, you know. And they probably had a couple business, like a blacksmith, a stable. There was probably a hotel, small hotel or store back here. Just minor stuff, you know, nothing major, but still 8 or 9 structures is pretty good. I never knew there was that many structures back here.
In 1/4 mile, turn right.
Like, I had no clue that all this existed back here, and I'm sure I missed a few things in the woods, but it's pretty cool back. It was pretty cool. It wasn't that bad to go explore. Going up to those lakes, man, that first probably mile is excruciating till you get to the lake's base, and then it levels off. I almost made it to the top. I turned around. I was like, I'm wasting my time. I'm not seeing anything, but I got far, really far. I love this area. I mean, I do. I love this place. It's a special place. You know what I'm saying? It's a good place to explore and hike around. It really is.
Well, people were taking cars back there.
Yeah, I know. But I always thought you couldn't go back there or see all that. I never knew. Anyways, folks, Johnsville is across. I could see it across the way, and we're leaving. And this is it.
Continue
And this
on
used to
route.
be, this is Mohawk Highway Road. This used to be a stage route. These were all stage routes. Now they're roads. You know what? When they first built the mines and stuff out here, I seen a picture at the park. All cleared, no woods around here. It's like empty. It was creepy looking in the picture. Like nothing was here. All these trees came later on because they cleared it all out. That's what forced them to do off the land. There's no longer their hunting grounds and stuff here. But where Johnsville is, no trees. Where the Eureka Plumas State Park was, no trees. All that, they cleared that whole area up to the lake, like the road to the lake, all the way down to Johnsville and the state park. All that was cleared of trees. And they showed the picture. And I thought to myself when I looked at it, where's all the trees? They showed all the structures in the map, no trees. And then I read in my notes, when they came here, they lumbered all the trees, got rid of all the trees. You needed timber for the mines too, like for the beams, because there's 65 miles of tunnels in Eureka Peak, 64 plus miles. So you needed timber, you know, for the shafts and all that. But anyways, folks, I want to say have a good night. This will take us to Route 70, and we'll take Route 70 out through Portola. And once we're past the Nevada border, state line, we'll cross over into Nevada, down to Cold Springs, down to Reno, and home. So, I mean, because we're having it out, this is the quickest way out. So, but not a bad trip. 3 days of ghost towns, cemeteries, mining camps, ghost towns, off-roading, some beautiful scenic places. I got to explore a lot up here in this region. I'm pretty happy with the results. And I mean, it's simple, but it was good. It was a lot of cool stuff I got to see. So, no complaints there. And it'll make a wonderful hot October addition to our website. And so I want to say good night. Thanks for following me. Thanks for following our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And also, browse our site. Journey around. See the locations we go to and visit. Read about the history. See the pictures. View the documentaries. And delve into it. So that you can, and that's the thing. When you delve into it, it's to get you off the couch to explore with your children. It's not all about me. I'm sure you will find things out here I didn't get to see. But I hope what I showed you, if it's ever gone, it's nice to have the videos and photos, because that's what's going to live on if there's ever a fire or a storm that damages this stuff. And when it's long gone, we'll still have the footage and the pictures for people to enjoy for years to come. So we're leaving Jamison City. Have a good night, everybody. And I wish everybody a safe and happy Halloween. And this is the Mohawk Highway. They called it that because of the Mohawk Mill, which is one of the biggest mills in the county. 60-something stamps it had. It was gigantic. You guys seen it? I took you in there. So what a great day. And I succeeded in doing what I meant to do. I filmed the state park. I filmed the Mohawk Mine. I filmed Jamison City. I got to film Johnsville, the cemetery a little bit, downtown Johnsville. So I got to do all the film I lost. Wow, all the film that I lost, everybody, I just refilmed. All the film, everybody, I just refilmed because I lost the film years ago. So I just went back to all the places to do a refilm for the website. So we have footage to go on our website. Because we added the pictures, we didn't have film. I lost all that. So now I get to add it. And I'm going to add it sooner than later, probably in a month or two. So you guys can kind of enjoy the video footage from today. Anyways, have a good night, everybody. And happy Halloween, October 31st, 2025. Peace out. Oh, cool. Oh, shit. See, Portola is 10 miles away, or 9. I thought I heard the train go by when I was at the mine. I heard it's a train. But don't forget, Portola is like a train depot area. So trains go through all the time, freight trains. But this used to be where the Feather River train, you know, the Western Railroad used to go, the Western Pacific Railroad used to go through here, through the area, and the Feather River Railroad. It doesn't run anymore, that passenger service, but it was one of the most scenic railroads in the country. Now, no. Now it's fucking, you know what this is? It's just a freight fucking line. The trains. And it's busy. Like every hour there's a train that comes through here. This is a busy line. If we go through Portola, you'll see probably another train or two as we go through Portola. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And I asked him what was wrong, and he said, that his dream.
Oh no. But why would somebody want to? I don't understand why somebody would do that. That's a lot to do with. There's no body parts remaining after someone gets hit by a train. It's pieces. You know? What kind of balls do you have to stand in front of a locomotive like that, though? What kind of balls does it take to stand there the whole time until you get hit?
I also had a friend of mine.
Well, you don't put pennies on when the train's coming. You do it when there's no train. Chill out until the train comes by. Yes. Oh.
I had asked his brother.
Yeah.
Probably like, 20 years ago, my friend was when I first got this. And I don't know why, but I was like, what else? He's like,
Oh. Oh. That's sad. That is sad. what gets me? Every once in a while, there's more engines in this. This is huge, this train. A mile fucking long. Oh, there it goes. We're done.